You all right? All right. Take your time. Catch your breath. Catch your breath. All right. You okay?
Oh, Shalaki.
You all right? You all right? Give the brother some water. All right. Go ahead and blow it. Pablo. Okay. Hi.
Yes, I'm.
First priest present himself.
Naharyala, Banya Hawada, Banya Shala.
Naharyala.
Naharyala,
Ban
Yahawda, Ban Yasharala.
All right, that's it.
Layashala.
Layashala just means to Israel. All right, so you got it.
Let's go.
Yep. Majum, which means to stand. Upon your dog, turn and face the east.
This is the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Badash. Hayah. Shaka. Yahweh. Malakaka. Daba'ah. Ratataka. Hayah. Aisha. Ba'arataza. Kawa. Hayah. Bashamayim. Latha. Lanaw. Laka'am. Ka. Yawam. Wasalak Nawal. Kawawat Nawa. Kasalak Nawal. Kawawat Yanawa. Wala'a. Tabaya Anawa. Basa Yanawa. Abba. Hawashan Nawa. Mayan. Raikaya. Laka. Halamawat Lakwa. Waha'ala. Wahathapara Abrath. Like a what layam. Aman.
In English. Our Father, which art in heaven, be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Give us our debts. As we give our debtors. It's not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
Amen. Hakat. This the power in Hebrew. Yahweh. Bahasham. Yahushua. Not another one. Hakat. La Rapa'a. Kala'a. Waka Madawa. Hakat. That's hard. Hamataranya. Hakat. Lahakawayim. Hamathayim. Hakat. El Rakawat. Hatama'ala. Like a Rashad. Bahasham. Yahushua. The water. Aman.
In English, Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Please give us the power.
Please give us the power.
The power to heal.
The power to heal.
All manner of sickness.
All manner of sickness.
All manner of disease.
All manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the leper.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
Cast them out.
To cast them out.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. The blessings of Hebrew. Barakatah.
Barakatah.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Why Yahweh Shai?
Why Yahweh?
Why Mayaka Allah?
Why Mayaka Allah?
Why Allah Hayam?
Why Alahayim?
Mataza Bayah.
Mataza Bayah.
Alawat.
Alawat.
Yahan.
Yahan.
Ha'alawat
Ha'alawakim.
Hasaranyam.
Hasaranyam.
Hakwataza Yam.
Hakotazayim.
Haka'ayayam.
Hakayayam.
Wahaka Wathayam.
Wahafatim.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahasham.
Bashir.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
The water.
The water.
Aman.
Amen.
In English, bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commander General Hannah.
Commander General Hannah.
The generals.
The generals.
The captains.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. This is Psalms chapter 121 in Hebrew. Asha'ah.
Asha'ah.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Haharyam.
Aharyam.
Ma'ahyam.
Mahayam.
Yaba'ah.
Yaba'ah.
Isaiah.
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 Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Shayamyam.
Shayamyam.
Wa'arataza.
Wa'arataza.
Al-Yatha.
Ayatha.
Lamawat.
Lamawat.
Gawk.
Gawk.
Al-Yanawam.
Ayanawa.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Hanala'ah.
Ana'ah.
Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Yashayan.
Yashayan.
Shawamar.
Shawamar.
Yasharala.
Yasha'ala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tzaka.
Tzaka.
Al-Yad.
Ayah.
Yanyaka.
Yanyaka.
Yamawam.
Yamawam.
Hashamash.
Hashamash.
La'ah.
La'ah.
Yakaka.
Yakaka.
Wayara.
Wayara.
Balayala.
Bayala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Makara.
Makara.
Shamara.
Shamarka.
Napashka.
Napaska.
Nahawa.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Taza Atka.
Taza'aka.
Wabawa'aka.
Waba'aka.
Wa'atha.
Wa'atha.
Wa'at. I will bum.
Wa'alam.
In the English.
In the English.
I will lift up my eyes from the hills.
I will lift up my eyes to the hills.
From what cometh my help.
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Lord.
My help cometh from the
Which
Lord,
made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be
He
moved.
that keepeth thee will not slumber.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber
shall neither slumber
nor sleep.
nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in.
and thy coming in.
And from this time forth.
From this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83 in Hebrew. Alahayim.
Alahayim.
Mayarlaka.
Adamalaka.
Thakarash.
Atakarash.
Shakwat.
Wa'atasakwat.
Kayahana.
Akayahana.
Wayabayaka.
Awayabayaka.
Yahama Yawa.
Yamaha Yawa.
Ra'ash al Makah.
Wa'asamaka.
Yarai Yawam.
Yarayam.
Sawada.
Sawada.
Wayatha.
Wayatha.
Ya'itazawa.
Ya'itazawa.
Tazapan Wanyaka.
Atazapamika.
Amara.
Amar.
Yasharala.
Yasha'ala.
Iwada.
Iwada.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Naiwa Tazawa.
Yanatazawa.
Laba.
Laba.
Yaka Abdawa.
Yakarawa.
Ayaka.
Ayaka.
Bayat.
Maya.
Yakarathwa. Ahaya.
Ahaya.
Adawam.
Adawam.
Wa Yashamai Alabyam.
Wayashamai Awanam.
Mama Abba.
Mawa Abba.
Wahagaryam.
Wahagaram.
Gabal.
Gabar.
Why Mawan.
Why Mawan.
Why Malak.
Why Ramalak.
Palashat.
Palashat.
I'm Yashabaya.
Ayashabaya.
Tazawar.
Tazawar.
Gam Ashawar.
Gam Ashawar.
Nalawa.
Nalawa.
Imam.
Imam.
Salaka. I'm Hayawa.
Ayawa.
Zarawa.
Zariah.
Kayab Yad.
Kayab Yad.
Banat Ka'a.
Banaka.
Kayashwa,
Kayashwa,
Nashamatwa,
Nashamatwa,
Bayan Da'ara,
Bayan Da'ara,
Hayawa Dama,
Bayan Da'ama,
La'adama,
La'adama,
Shayatawa,
Shayatamwa,
Nada Yapmawa,
Anadanawa,
Kaira,
Kara,
Wakazayaba,
Wakazaba,
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 Wakatazawa,
Wakazaza,
Maina, Ka Nasayak Kawa,
Kanasayakawa,
Aya,
Aya,
Aish Marwa,
Amarwa,
Naya Rashwa,
Naraswa,
Lanawa,
Lanawa,
Na'awa,
Na'awa,
Allahayam,
Alahayam,
Allahaya,
Alahaya,
Shaya Wafka,
Shayawaka,
Kagar Kala,
Kakakala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya,
Lapanya,
Rawaka,
Rawakwa,
Kaash,
Kaash,
Taba Ira Ya Ira,
Taba Ira Ya Ira,
Wala Haba,
Wala Haba,
Talaha,
Talaha,
Hariyab,
Hariyam,
Kad,
Ka,
Tharabdatma,
Taradama,
Basat Raka,
Basaraka,
Wa Basa,
Wabasa,
Wapathaka,
Wabataka,
Taba Hala,
Tabahala,
Mala'a,
Mala'a,
Panyaha,
Panyaha,
Kwalawa,
Kwalawa,
Wanya Bakwashwa,
Wanya Bakwashwa,
Shaka,
Shaka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Shabashwa,
Shabashwa,
Waya Bahawa,
Waya Bahawa,
Ayat
Ayaya,
Waya Kapara,
Waya Kapara,
Waya
Waya,
Ibawadwa,
Ibawadwa,
Waya Dawa,
Waya Dawa,
Kaya Ata,
Kaya Ata,
Shimka,
Shamka,
Yahawa,
Yahawa,
Labaka,
Labaka,
Ali Yawa,
Ayawa,
Kaliha,
Alkaha,
Atarata,
Arataza,
In English, keep not thy silence.
Keep not thy silence.
O God.
O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
Be not still.
Be not still.
O God.
O God.
For lo, thy enemies make a tumult.
Thy enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee
have lifted up their head.
have lifted up their head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel
against thy people.
against thy people.
And consulted against thy hated ones.
And consulted against thy hated
And they
ones.
have said.
They have said,
Come,
and
let us cut them off.
And let us cut them off
from being a nation.
from being a nation.
That the name of Israel.
That the name of Israel
may be no more.
may be no more.
And remember.
remembrance.
For they have consulted together.
For they have consulted together
with one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against
The
thee.
tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
Moab.
And Moab.
And the Hagarenes.
And the Hagarenes.
Gebal.
Gebal.
And Ammon.
And Ammon.
And Amalek.
And Amalek.
And the Philistines.
And the Philistines.
The inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Asher also is joined with them.
Asher also is joined with them.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Do unto them.
Do unto them.
As unto the Midianites.
As unto the Midianites.
As to Sarah.
As to Sarah.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of Kishon.
At the brook of Kishon.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished at Endor.
They be gone.
They be gone.
As dung.
As dung.
For the earth.
For the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb.
Make their nobles like a
And
red.
like Zeeb.
And like Zeeb.
Yea.
Yea.
All their princes like Zabah.
All their princes like Zabah.
And as Zamunah.
And as Zamunah.
Who said. Let us take for ourselves.
Let us take for ourselves.
The houses of God.
The houses of God.
And possession.
And possession.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like wood.
As a stubble before the wind.
As a stubble before the wind.
As a fire burns wood.
As a fire burns wood.
And as a flame setteth the mountains on fire.
And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest.
So persecute them with thy tempest.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
And make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Lord.
O Lord.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
In trouble.
In trouble.
Forever.
Forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That men may know.
That men may know.
That thou. Whose name alone. Is Yahweh.
Is Yahweh.
Are the most high.
Are the most high.
Over all the earth.
Over all the earth.
Psalm, which means to turn. Yeshavia means you may be seated. So where we're going to be starting at, this is the Feast of Unleavened, the closing of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, right? So we're going to read from Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus chapter 23, starting at verse 1. This is the time period after we have left Egypt. So we just celebrated the Passover. You know what I'm saying? Most High in Christ, you know what I'm saying? A lot of brothers and sisters, you know what I'm saying, came from all over. A glorious time, of course, though, man. You know what I'm saying? A glorious time. Some of y'all, it was your first Passover. Most High in Christ. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all ain't know what to do, right? But, you know, it was the Passover, of course, though. We'll get into that. But we're going to start Leviticus chapter 23, starting at verse 1. We're going to read down, I believe, to verse 7. All right, we're going to read the first 7 verses, of course, and then we are going to read it in English, and we're going to break that all down for you, all right? So y'all can understand, you know, why we do what we do, of course, still the traditions that we follow and that we keep. Go ahead.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 1 in the Hebrew. Waya Debar, Yahweh, Al Mashah, La Amar, verse 2. Debar, Al Banya, Yasha Allah, Wa Martha, Alaham, Mawa Idea, Yahweh, Ashar, Taquara, Awa, Atham, Makwara Aya, Quadash, Allah, Ham, Mawa Tazadaya, verse 3, Shashad, Yamayam, the Aisha, Mala'aka, Waba Yawam, Hashab Ya'aya, Shabbat one, Makwara Qudash, Al, Malaka, Kab, Malaka, La'a, the Aishawa, Shabbat, Hawa, La Yahweh, Bakal, Mawashab, Tayakam, verse 4, Allah, Mawa Daya, Yahweh, Makwa Arya, Qudash, Ashar, Taquara Awa, Atham, Bamawa Idam, verse 5, Batadash, Bakadash, Hara Asharon, Ba'a Rabba Tazah, Aisha, Lakadash, Bayan, Ha'ai Rabiam, Pasak, verse La Yahweh, verse 6, Waba Kamasha, Aishar, Yawam, Lakadash, Hazaha, Haga, Kaga, Hamatazawath, La Yahweh, Shabbat, Yamayam, Matazawath, the Akalawa, verse 6. Ta'akalawa, verse 7. Bayawam, Hara Awan, Makwara, Quadash, Yahweh, Lakam, Ka, Mala'aka, Ibadah, La'a, Ta'ai Shawa.
Hey, Shalaki, give it up for this brother, man. You know what I'm saying? He gave it in. He's reading the Hebrew, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I first started out, though, this brother is doing his thing. Most High in Christ. So, Leviticus chapter 23, your quads go ahead and read that. Leviticus chapter 23. God. Now, I would think most of us are familiar with, you know what I'm saying, the Exodus story, right? So we'll go over that, of course, though, and we'll explain the whole breakdown. You got that? You got that? Wow.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, verse 2, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. Verse 3, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest, and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. Verse 4, these are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. Verse 5, in the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. Verse 6, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. Verse 7, in the first day ye shall have a holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein.
All right. So, just going over this briefly, starting from verse 1, and it said, and the Lord said, and the Lord spake unto Moses. This is the leadership, right? This is who was in charge of Israel and guiding us. Moses didn't just do stuff on his own. He spoke to the elders, you know what I'm saying, of Israel. It's no different today, you know, when you see the churches or the politicians, the leaders, you know, you typically go to those that are in charge, right? Whenever there's different issues that are going on, it's brought before the people. And what's the issue going on with this community, of course? Though? Moses was in charge of our people at that time, but he also had those that were influential within our society. And he went and he told the elders, just like he told the laws and all that other stuff, though. He went and he gave us what days that we are supposed to keep, what feast days that we are supposed to follow. So Moses was speaking to the children of Israel. The important thing about this is that it's being very specific. It didn't say it was talking to the children of Edom. It didn't say it was talking to the children of Moab. It didn't say it was talking to, you know, the Ishmaelites. It was speaking specifically, you know what I'm saying, to the children of Israel. Salah. So Moses was speaking to a very specific group of people, just like right now. I'm talking to so-called Black Hispanics, you know, Latino, Native Americans, of course, though, First Nation people. That's who we're speaking to. If you look up here on the wall, you'll see the 12 tribes, you know what I'm saying, of Israel. From the Native Americans to the Mexicans, you know what I'm saying? Those are all of our brothers and our sisters. You know, the so-called, what is it, Haitians, right? The Levites. Those are all of our brothers and sisters, of course, though. You got the West Indians, our brothers and sisters. The problem that we have today is that we identify as everything else except who we truly are. We have our culture to a certain extent, but we've been indoctrinated by other nations, though. Understand? We want to go out here and say we're Rastafari, and that's not who we are. You understand? Like we look at celebrities, right? Those are our so-called leaders nowadays. Look at what's the name? Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. I'm only using it because I think Megan just had the whole court case all last year.
right? And she broke down in tears at one point, saying she felt ashamed of what? Of having to go out there and divulge all that information about, her being promiscuous. But you have young girls, young ladies growing up looking at, Meg Thee Stallion. But you have also Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is not one of our people. You understand? She's not ours. She would be considered a coolie. She would be considered a coolie. She's basically perpetrating, just like Nipsey Hussle. Those of you who are fans of Nipsey Hussle and Nicki Minaj, they are not of our bloodline. Just like Tia Morrow. They just did the whole Henry Louis Gates. They did the ancestry and found out that her great grandmother at the age of 9 was a slave. And when they did we're getting away, the abolishment of slavery, of course, though, she still had to work 4 years. So it was until she was the age of 13 at least before she was free. But she still had to go through slavery. But guess what? Her ancestors at some point end up doing what? Having sex, with the oppressor. And she came out and she said things like, it's conflicting to be of mixed race. Why? Because one people was the ones that were doing the oppression. The others are the ones that were being oppressed. Just like today. When you hear about this Bible talking about, people are going to be unalived, the Most High is going to unalive people. Well, who is he talking about? Who is he referring to? Is he talking about everybody? Or is he talking about a specific nation or group of people? So right now in the scriptures, Moses is identifying a specific group, which are the children of Israel. Not all the nations, not Ammon, not the Hamites, not the Ethiopians, not the Eritreans, none of them. He's speaking to Israel, which today, are so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And I heard recently where this Hamite actually came out and said something, and I was just like, wow, that's crazy, right? He said, Black people cannot and should not identify as African American. If you cannot say what tribe you're from, then you cannot truly be what is by definition African American. That's the tricky part, right? Everybody in here is supposed to be from Africa, right? But what tribe are you from? Are you Nigerian? Are you Congolese? You understand? Are you Ethiopian? Are you of the tribe of Zulu? No, we're a separate people, man. We are the Israelites, that left Egypt, that fled from Egypt into the parts of Africa and where we settled. And at one point in time, there was a map. There was a section carved up of the map that was called the land of Judah. You understand? That's where we dwelt. And when it came time for the conquistadors, when it came time for them to go ahead and enslave so that they could build up this nation as it is today, where did the Africans, where did the Hamites, what did they turn to? They looked to where we came and we settled. Oh yeah, go get them. They're not our people. That's not us. We'll sell them off. I'm not going to sell my cousins. I'm not going to sell my auntie. We're going to sell off this strange nation of people that came in fleeing. That's probably why they're here anyways. They looking for them, those Israelites that dwelled in the land of Judah. So of course, when we went and we settled in Africa from Egypt, this is what we were taught. This is what Moses spoke to our brothers and sisters about. It says, speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be a holy convocation. This weekend for everybody, what is it? What's this weekend? Does anybody know?
Feast of Unleavened Bread.
I'm not talking about here in the school, but you're absolutely right. Give it up for the young man. Understand? He knows what we celebrate. He knows what we're keeping. Anybody? Go ahead.
Easter.
It's what?
Easter.
It's Easter. On the way coming, go ahead, sis.
Easter, Ramadan, and Passover.
Easter, Ramadan, Passover. Right? All the other heathen nations and everything else, though, they are celebrating their customs. Why are we following after them? On the way coming over here to the school, I saw a little girl, a little boy out there running around, you know what I'm saying, look for eggs. If you look up, you know what I'm saying, on, what is it, Syracuse.com, you'll see the post about the biggest Catholic, you know, egg hunt over where? Anybody know? Anybody know where it's at in the city of Syracuse? It was in Berry Park. They had so many people gathering in Berry Park. Isn't COVID still an issue? Isn't RSVP, you know, or RS, whatever that thing is called, still an issue? The children are you know, getting sick, you know, from a respiratory disease, and you're gonna send them out there to go hunting for eggs. Bunnies lay eggs?
No.
Bunnies lay eggs? Is that what they teach y'all in school? That bunnies lay eggs?
No.
Because I mean, I don't know. I thought they were mammals. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been so long since I've been to school, of course, though. But I don't think bunnies lay eggs. I'm positive bunnies don't lay eggs. If that's the case, then, you know, there shouldn't be a shortage of, you know, eggs in the morning, right? We should be able to just go to the bunnies and say, well, listen, we out of chickens, though, but we're going to get some bunnies. I'm just saying. So Moses went to our elders and told us what? That this is a feast day that we are supposed to keep, that we're supposed to honor, that we're supposed to follow. And what's the significance of it? Does anybody have an idea of what the significance is? What's some things that we celebrate, you know what I'm saying, that's not in the truth? Those of us that's not true, what do we celebrate? And why do we celebrate? All phones are mute, Baba Kasha. Go ahead. Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, birthdays,
New
Year's
Eve.
Good night. Didn't they just do like St. Patrick's Day or something like that? Right? All of these feast days are what? They're feasts, and they're commemorating something specific, another person's culture. They're done so that people can remember our Irish heritage, right? Isn't that why they have St. Patty's Day? Isn't that why they have President's Day? Isn't that why they have Memorial Day? For that we can remember who? Those that went out and fought? Well, if we're supposed to remember those that went out and fought, how about why can't we remember our ancestors, you know what I'm saying, that died for us? Passover. Do you understand the significance of what Passover is? What Passover is? The significance is that our enemies, those that came up against us, you know, was put to death. Slakia. They were made unalive so that we can be free. They were made unalive, you know what I'm saying, so that we can go out and give honor to our power. How many of y'all, you know what I'm saying, had to make plans months in advance and even up to the day just so y'all can get to Passover? I know I did. I was told that I couldn't take the time off. I could not take the time off. But the Most High still saw fit that I was able to get the one day and make it down, you know what I'm saying, for the Passover. Boy. So it's important that we remember, you know what I'm saying, our heritage, our feast days, where we can come together. At some point in the future, of course, it's not going to be, you know, like it is right now. We're not going to have to go to our oppressors, those that, you know, keep us working 7 days. That's why it says, where is that? Is it the next page? Verse 3. Verse 3 says, 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath. If it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, for these scriptures, we'd be working 7 days a week. 7 days a week. Listen, Esau picks and chooses when he wants to follow the particular details of this book. Oh, well, we got to give a day off, labor laws and everything else. Look, there are days in which that we are to go out and work. There are days in which that we'll go out and till the land. they go out in the field, of course, though, and pick the crops and everything else, so that we can put, food and shelter, over our households. There's a time for that. But there's a day that we should have to sit back and just, man, we worked hard, didn't we? But of course, I'm saying, under our oppressors, we would never have that time off. We would never, have a day off. During slavery, of course, though, they would get them up 3 a.m. in the morning. I've been down south. I talked to my grandparents. I got a story, from my uncle, my grandfather Jim, who just passed. And he told me how nasty, our oppressors are. He told me, the times that we would have to get up early in the morning. Why? Because the sun is so hot. You get out there and you work starting 3 a.m. in the morning. And you take a rest around about noon. Why? And you keep going until, the evening. And guess what? You get up and do it all over again. You think it made a difference if you was 5 years old, 6 years old? Where's that picture of the little boy over here picking cotton? Little baby is only 3 years old picking cotton. And we still got it going on today. You have teachers that saying, oh, we're going to enlighten, other people about slavery. And guess what? It's the little colored boys and little colored girls that's being the slaves. And it's the little white boys and little white girls that's being what? The slave masters. How many times have you read, about the articles about them playing cowboys and Indians? Massachusetts is big for it. We can bring out, several articles about all that stuff. What just happened with LSU? LSU, ESPN, anybody sports fan?
I forgot the
Yeah, I forgot to sit there too.
she did
You don't see me, right?
yeah, but the Edomite girl, she did it first.
Yeah.
Angel
Reese, come to water, sir. So here's the whole thing about it. You know what I'm saying? Before the game started, right? The one Edomite girl goes out there and she's like, man, I ain't gonna guard you. Left the girl wide open. Wide open. And they was just like, oh, like, no big deal. LSU was just like, yo, disrespectful. It's not gonna fly like that. And they said it before the game. So now the game's going. She's like, you can't see me. And of course, what did Jill Biden do? Does anybody know? Go ahead, Shalom.
Invited both teams.
And she did what?
She tried to invite both teams.
Has that ever happened in the history? Has that ever happened in the history of any championship? World Series, NBA championship. Like what? Like, come on, man. That has never happened. What's the guy, who talks a lot? Stephen A. Smith. I mean, big ups to the brother, because he called it out, right? He said, listen, she only did the exact same thing. And he said, look, we're going to call a spade a spade. I'm just ad-libbing, of course. But he just said, like, yo, when she did it, it was okay. Nobody had a problem. But now that she did it, it's not. It's a black thing, right? Come on, man. Let's call it what it is. It's not like she ran all up in her face and, did extra stuff. During the game, she did the exact same thing. Before the game, they let them know this ain't going to fly. But yet, we still want to go out and we want to celebrate Easter. When we have Passover, where the Most High took care of our enemies, took care of those that tried to oppress us, those that sought, to make us servants. And of course, who had no compassion on our little babies, on our little girls, our little boys. Emmett Till died and he was made unalive. You understand? And it wasn't until the person that made the accusation was on their deathbed that it started to come out. What happened? They had a warrant. They had a warrant that they put somewhere in the basement for the one that made the accusations against Emmett Till. There was a warrant that sat in the basement for over 60, almost 70 years. It sat in the basement of the precinct for 60 something years. These are those little unknown facts that we don't know. But we want to go out here, you know what I'm saying, and we want to, you know, whop. You know what I'm saying? And whatever else. Listen, on the way over here, I don't know what it was, shenanigans? No, what was it? It wasn't shenanigans. What's the song? Y'all know the song I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? The girls, it was like, my name is Keisha. Yeah, da, da, da. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know. Shibuya. Wow. Shibuya. Salagia. The song is called Shibuya. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you know what I'm saying, it's playing on the radio. She's calling herself the number one BITCH, Salagia, PG-13, whatever. She's calling herself that. And it's just like, man, you had people that used to call us out of our name on a daily basis. Come here, boy. I can't stand when I hear us look at one another and say, boy. What was it? What's the brother out of Chattanooga, Tennessee? Snakes on a Plane. Samuel L. Jackson. He talked about how he grew up around his own brothers and sisters, and he saw his, I don't know if it was his uncle or his father, but he saw this oppressor talk to his father or his uncle, who's a grown man. You know what I'm saying? And call him a boy. Call him a boy. Can you imagine that? You walking around here, you know what I'm saying, and hearing somebody call your father a boy, and your father don't say or do anything about it? Go ahead.
Hey, Salaki, sir. And even as today, though, don't you hate like when you deal with an oppressor, though, working or et cetera, though, they say they be real slick with it, like that a boy. That's disrespectful.
God.
Low key. Then when they tell you that a boy, when you get something accomplished.
God. Listen, Slagia, I've called him out several times on my slavery. I even sent it in an email, and my supervisor pulled me to the side. Hey, listen, I get it. Look, I get it. Just next time, can you come to me first? I was just like, because it was a whole HR issue. You understand? It was an HR issue. Like they thought it was cute talking about some, boy this, boy that. No, I'm not about to let that fly. I done told you once. I done told you twice. You know what I'm saying? One time is all it takes, right? What happened with Jonathan Majors? Jonathan Majors, you know what I'm saying, quote unquote, from what I understood, called the cops on his, you know what I'm saying, oppressive girlfriend. He called the cops and he got arrested. And then, you know what I'm saying, all the oppressor, you know what I'm saying, movie producers and everything else went online and started bashing him. They started tearing him down. Hey, Shalom Sawat. They started tearing his name, running it all through the mud. Instead of him being a 20, he just played the movie with Ant-Man, right? What else did he just do? Creed? You understand? He just played two aggressive roles. Oh yeah, that's he's like that all the time. He's difficult to work with. People that he was in college with in acting school, you know what I'm saying, came out of the woodworks, all to make whatever comments. Ain't that something? But yet we want to integrate. We want to join, you know what I'm saying, with our oppressors. The reasons why, you know what I'm saying, this is so important is because of things like that. Your father being falsely accused and spending 30 plus years in jail for rape when he didn't commit it. What's going on with Trump right now? Y'all remember? What's fake? Go ahead.
He going through court for, I think, he going through court, right?
Yeah.
I forgot what it's for, but so much stuff. But I don't know.
Go ahead, Yaquadza. I see you.
It's Locky, sir. Obviously that technically did like backfire former President Donald Trump though when he was bragging in public, talking about so if you want to, this how you want to deal with a sister or either woman, you grab them by the vagina. You don't say that like that. That's sexual harassment.
God, I'm going back, you know what I'm saying, to Central Park. Anybody know what I'm talking about now?
Khan.
Go ahead, something
I think it said something when that happens with the 5 brothers. Like an article out.
The Central Park 5?
Yeah. Come on. Things that they should be put down.
He was involved, you know what I'm saying, with what happened. It's like it's the Central Park 5, but I believe it should be like the Central Park 6. Because there was another brother that he just wasn't grouped in with him. If I'm correct, Salaki, if I'm not 100% on that. But
it was just the 5 brothers.
It was the 5, you know what I'm saying, but
the 6th one was the one that did. That's what.
Come. Well, Salaki, there was another one that got for something different though.
Oh, okay.
Around the same thing, but he got exonerated later on. And they was just saying, oh, there was another person that was there, Salaki. But yeah, Salaki, they're bringing that back up. Because what was Trump, you know what I'm saying, doing? They're criminals. They need to be locked up. You know, who else, you know what I'm saying, was part of that? Does anybody have an idea? He's only the leader of the free world. No?
Joe Biden?
Yeah, you're damn right.
Oh.
Joe Biden. Listen, suddenly everybody's going to forget about everything that Joe Biden did, right? Joe Biden, Donald Trump, it's all the same. You know what I'm saying? It's all the same.
Lock it. Bill Clinton, different because why would you want to oppress and lock up mad Black and Hispanics? Oh, Salaki, I'm gonna go back on that though. And it's crazy though, like now, like how they legalize marijuana, right? But back in the 90s though, President Bill Clinton was the reason to incarcerate a lot of Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. And as of today, all those brothers and sisters that's incarcerated is still not out to this day. Still probably doing life or whatever because of the marijuana situation. But now they legalized it though. It did. We too simple to figure that out as a nation.
Right. Yeah. So think about it for just a moment, right? With all of these oppressors constantly coming at you, forget about the politicians. Like we ain't even get, you know what I'm saying, into the depth of that. But now you have the law enforcement. Now you have your supervisor. You understand? You got to worry about showing up 2 minutes late. Oh, I'm a docket 15 minutes. You know what? That touched a little personal. You know what I'm saying? But you show up 1 minute late. I recall sitting at my desk. I'm sitting at my desk and my phone goes off and my supervisor was like, where you at? I'm sorry. You must have the wrong number. I'm clearly sitting at my desk. And the difference is, where Sabayab is sitting and where I'm sitting. But he's just behind me. He couldn't lift his head up to see that I'm sitting at my desk. I got this fro like, you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You don't miss, you know what I'm saying, somebody 6'4" with a fro that make him 6'9". You understand? That's the oppression that we got going on. So we have the law enforcement, we have politicians, of course, though. Hey, hold your peace. Law enforcement, politicians, the supervisors at your slavery, of course. And now you want to go, you know what I'm saying, and lay down with a dog? Does that make any sense? So it's important that we remember, you know what I'm saying, these feast days. It says 6 days shall work be done. If it wasn't for the Most High, you know what I'm saying, setting that aside, we'd be working forever. There would be no days off. I hate to say it, you know what I'm saying, Wale, that him, of course, though, but no days off. We don't have time for days off. We got to work 2-3 jobs. Your rent's $1,300 a month. Not to even talk about, your utilities. Are you kidding me? Utilities went up $1, $2, $3 per year, and it never went back down. They said it's supposed to go back down. My connection service is almost $150. I said, forget about delivering the service. Like, look, I don't need gas. I figure it out. You understand? I'm paying $150 just for them to deliver it, not to use it, but to deliver it. And of course, you know, you got all the appliances and everything else. You turn the stove on for 5 minutes to cook some ramen noodles, and your bill's $300. So now you're paying $1,600 of course, though, and you're only making $15 an hour. How are you going to pay bills? How are you going to pay your car note? How are you going to pay the insurance? How are you going to pay the medical insurance? I ain't talking about food. I ain't talking about clothing. I ain't talking about gas. Gas, which was what, like $5 a gallon? I don't know. I ain't driving right now, so like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know the cost of gas, but you know it's enough. You know what I'm saying? But I'm good. Got to get creative out here, man. So we out here working 7 days a week. Why? So that we can put food on the table, so that we can take care of our basic necessities, of course. It keeps us divided. It's like, man, listen, I don't know about you though, but I gotta go get this bag right now. Why? Because the rent's due. It feel like 30 days ain't enough. They need to change the months up to 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Give us 60 days so that we can take care of, you know what I'm saying, 30 days worth of bills. Like, seriously. Don't talk to me about inflation, man. I can't say nothing else. I'll get myself in trouble. It says 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is a Sabbath, a day of rest, a holy convocation. So what we did, of course, though, is we came in, we said the prayers, you understand, to the Most High. Why? Because we need, you know what I'm saying, the Most High to do something for us. We need to be separate from everybody else around us, because everybody else is promoting, you know what I'm saying, being promiscuous, joining with the other nations, not keeping the law, statute, commandments. If we look at all of the oppression that we are going through, all of the affliction that's going upon us on a regular basis, it comes back to what? What does it come back to? Go ahead, huh?
Us not knowing who he is.
Okay, that's definitely a big part of it. That's definitely a big part of it. But what else? I'm looking for one more thing. Go ahead, your quads up. I see.
So what was the question again?
It all comes back to one thing. When you look at everything that we've been going through, everything that we've been dealing with, what does it come back to? Not just us knowing who we are, but something else.
I had it on my mind. It's just moving.
No sweat. Your quadrilla, you want to give it a shot again?
Salaki, I could be wrong, but like not only like not know who he is, but just like having that heathen state of mind, you know, living like as of today, we living like Americans when the Lord doesn't require that Black, Latinos, Native American Indians living like an American. Which is death.
Okay. Sabayab, I see you wanted to raise your hand.
Yeah, it's like pretty much, you know, us going against not following the laws.
Salaki. That's what I was looking for. You was right. But specifically, just saying, keep it to the law. You understand? If we keep the law, you know what I'm saying, it keeps us alive. It keeps us from being put to death. I just heard about what's the Salaki. This cat was married to, you know what I'm saying, a oppressor too. The one that played in John Wick, the black dude, bald head, that just died. Oh, I forgot. Coolio. What's the other cat name? Michael K. Williams, right? They just the guy that, you know, sold whatever to him. What was in it? What was in it? Fentanyl. So the other cat, he played in the movie John Wick. He was the concierge or whatever it was, whatever you call it.
Talking about the black ball headed dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just don't know his name. He played in a lot of them.
God. And the attorney's like, look, this guy was healthy. He was fit. So how is he bad? How, you know what I'm saying?
Like he just did an interview, like I think less than 48 hours before he died.
Yeah.
They said he was good.
They was torn.
Yeah.
You know what his wife is? Anybody want to take a guess? Ask Jonathan Majors.
Edomite?
You're damn right. You got 2 children, you know what I'm saying, with this Edomite. That all goes back to, once again, what are we doing? Not doing. Go ahead.
Oh, Salakia, being disobedient to the Lord, not keep the law, statutes, commandments, as Sabiah was saying, and then what I was saying, though, all that falls for like living like a heathen state of mind, living like an American or Egyptian or etc.
Come. And that's what the scripture tells us. It says, a holy convocation, ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in your dwellings. You understand? We're supposed to be separate. That doesn't mean that you can't turn the lights on. Like, I'm sorry. It's like you know what I'm saying? I'm be very careful though, but that's just straight ignorant. If the Most High wants me to die because it's the Sabbath, my house is on fire, but nobody can come and help me because it's the Sabbath. I gotta lay there and let me and my family burn because it's the Sabbath. What? That's foolish. That's not what the scripture's saying. The scriptures is telling us be separate. It's telling us take the day off. Sit down and actually rest. Why? Because you've been working nonstop. Have y'all ever heard the sound of a whip? I mean, like in person. You've heard it. That thing, good night. Listen, man. I gotta up front in person though, the sound of a whip. That thing hurt my soul. I said the ancestors in me felt that. That sound is terrifying. Understand? The movie Glory gives you an idea, but to really see it in person, dear Lord, when the kingdom comes, I'm gonna have me one of them things, and it's gonna have the little metal balls in it. You understand? And that same thing that was visited upon my ancestors will be visited upon, you know what I'm saying, their ancestors and so forth. Salakia.
Like, then they used to braid them with, like they used to have them like a braid at the end.
What they do is, my research has said there is a steel rod, maybe anywhere between 6 to 10 inches long, right? A steel rod, and they take it and they cord it 3 times. So you have the one cord that's braided on top, and then they sheath it, and then they braid it again, and then they sheath it, and then they do that last outer braiding, and then at the end, there's that little string, maybe about 4 to 6 inches. And when it goes from one direction to another, it breaks the sound barrier. And to hear the sound barrier being broken, like I'm just it's just something. It's a bullwhip. They use it on animals, but to have that thing, it's a different experience. Go ahead.
Yeah, Salakia, sir. What you said like a couple minutes earlier was real heavy though, because when you said like somebody that don't know this book that live it literally though, and like not do anything, and if the house is burning, let the family die in the smoke, burn up or whatever though, that just shows you that the nations of people that stole our identity don't know anything about this Bible, and they don't know what they talk about. But it's not us. That was her right there. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, there's been plenty of sisters who talked about, how they're, home health care aides, and they are made to change, that pad. They're made to change that pad because they are not supposed to do anything. They can't use the elevator, so they're going to make someone else break the law. It makes no sense, whatsoever, man. And that's the difference. So when you come into the scriptures, it's breaking down the feast days that we're supposed to keep. And each one is very important. So the first one that we're getting to is the Passover. The first one we get into, verse 4, Slack. These are the feast days of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their season. So there's a different time, of course, though. And each one that we should, make sure that everybody knows, right, is in the time of the season, though. So what just happened? It's around tax season, ain't it? When was Christ born? Around tax time, right? Passover. What's the temperatures like overseas right now? Anybody know? They got the almanacs that go back to like the 15th century. It's crazy, right? They got this, if they got historical data to the 15th century, so you mean something that they don't got the historical data about who we are as a people? And the weather changes on a regular basis. They got the almanacs that goes back to the 1800s. And you telling me that they don't have, the historical records of who we are as a people?
They'll say it was the Black Age, so they don't care. They wasn't in leadership, so
yeah. But they got the records.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
They got the records.
They got the gold to them heathens in Egypt, so I know they got records of that.
Listen, Commander Giuliani, has gone there, he's seen it himself in person. Captain Zarayat, he did a tour, you understand? And, he came back and he was telling us about it. It was just like, good night. I don't know if I want to do that tour. You know what I'm saying? I have to, get strict orders before I go. Can't do this. Sir. So it says, these are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their season. Verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month, at the even, is the Lord's Passover. So if you look at the seasons, we just celebrated the Passover, right? I had cats that came up to me and was just like, yeah, we celebrate the Passover in March. Oh, so what you doing right now? What are you celebrating the Feast of Unleavened Bread? Oh, okay. So how'd you come up with that? You understand? And that's going into the records. Understanding the calendar months, the moons and all that other stuff, though, right? You gotta really do your research, do your due diligence. There are scholars in here that take the time. You heard this brother reading the Hebrew? You understand? Like, that is our language that we speak. If y'all was at the Passover and y'all watched the Sabbath service, them brothers, man, absolutely amazing, man. It was just like Most High in Christ. Big up to Captain Zaniyah, Captain Ashapar, you know what I'm saying, who made sure them brothers was ready. You know what I'm saying? Listen, y'all think I wasn't paying attention. I pay attention to it all. Salakia. I pay attention to it all. I watch. You understand? Part of being on Shamar is making sure that you see everything that's going on. To watch and look out for your people. So if there's a threat, you know what I'm saying, you can do what? Warn the people. The scripture tells us to warn our brothers and sisters, right?
So like give Officer Nahar y'all love him.
Okay. So, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of what? Of unleavened bread. So we celebrated the Passover, and the very next day, we started a feast of unleavened bread. Who knows why we had to feast of unleavened bread?
Because we that's what we was eating when we was in the wilderness.
Anybody else in here cook? Anybody cook? You want to say something? Go ahead.
Because when the angels came by, they had to kill a lamb and put the blood on their door, and they had to eat it fast. And then if the angels don't have blood, if they don't see the blood, I forget what else happens. But
God. So when we were in Egypt, get a young man a hand. You understand? What he's talking about was the Passover. We were given instructions to follow, regardless if you thought it was ridiculous or not, right? Take, you know what I'm saying, the unblemished, lamb, put the blood on the doorpost, sprinkle the blood on the doorpost. so that when the Most High, you know what I'm saying, he sends his plagues, guess what happens? You are not, you know what I'm saying, affected by it. So when that happened, of course, Pharaoh didn't know. They was keeping their customs, whatever. And guess what? A great cry was made in Egypt. I don't want to sound like I'm saying the movie though, but you know, that's how they always say it in the movies, right? A great cry. But when we read the scriptures, Exodus, you know what I'm saying? You know, it goes into all that. But what was the thing that was so important about the Feast of Unleavened Bread?
We had to hurry up and go.
We had to hurry up and go.
We didn't have time for the bread to rise, so we had to just eat that. And we was eating it for 7 days.
Right. But we didn't have the time to really knead the bread. You understand? When listen, I cook different types of foods. You understand? I ain't a pastry chef like that. But, you know, when you get there, you got to knead the dough. Really knead it. Why? Because it gets the air bubbles out. You understand? It mixes all the ingredients together, whether you're using yeast or baking soda. You understand? Or it's like baking soda. You understand? It helps the bread rise. And if you don't do that, it's just going to come out flat. Now, how many of y'all ever baked a cake? How many mamas ever baked a cake? Y'all should all know about your mama telling you to do what?
Don't run.
Say that again?
Don't run.
Don't run. Why?
I think
Make a cake for.
That's right. You understand? Make the cake fall. You understand? It's like just raise your hand next time. Go up. It'll make the cake fall. I said that the other like 2 weeks ago. That one, I had my pies in the oven. You understand? And it was rising just all nice. And I looked back, I said, oh my. The one was sinking in the middle. I said, man. You understand? Like the cake will fall. The ingredients are being active. It takes time to do that, right? But when you're on the run, when you're on the go, do you got time to really just let that cook and rise and everything else? Hey man, listen, this gotta, throw this in the fire, let this fry up real quick. We got to go. You don't got time to put it in the oven. You gotta throw it in the fryer. Where's the like this corn chip right here? This tortilla. You understand? They take it, they chop it up, and they throw it in the fryer. And it cooks real quick, boom. It's done in like 30 seconds. You understand? You don't got an hour or 2 hours or however long it takes for the food to cook. You got a matter of, hey man, listen, they on our heels. We got to go. All right. So you look, your house is burning down. Look, I don't got till tomorrow to wait. I need the fire department right now. Tomorrow gonna come and I ain't gonna have a house. Everybody in my farms and all the animals is gonna be dead. So we had to go. We were being pursued by Pharaoh and his armies because the anger came upon him. The Most High said that he would cause, that hardness of his heart. Just like today, right? They talk about all the promises to us as the people. Why in the world, did Joe Biden go into the White House and within 100 days, he made all these laws, to protect other people who's not us? Hey, let me ask you this though. How many of y'all feel safer now that there's that law that prevents, us from being lynched? Oh, the water. You know what I'm saying? The water, get a piece of that bread. You understand that? You see that? The unleavened bread, man. The Haryala made this bread. You understand? Most High Christ.
It's all right. I can't eat it 7 days, but it's good.
You might have had the wrong piece, Cap. I got the good.
I'll tell you.
It's good right here. The significance of all this stuff comes back to, they said it's a hate crime to get lynched or to lynch a black person. It doesn't stop people from lynching us. It's just a matter of just don't get caught. That's how I look at it. Hey, man, listen, lynch all the people you want to. Just don't get caught. That's what it comes down to. Just like, you know what I'm saying, the woman that accused Emmett Till for 60 plus years, she was what? Roaming the streets. Free as she can be. Why? Because they made sure that she wasn't going to get caught. And until somebody finally pushed the issue, and they're still fighting to bring it up. They're still fighting for it. We're not gonna get any type of justice. Cap, I believe you was in the room, you know what I'm saying, when the brother was talking about, you know, his ancestors, of course, though. He said he's related. That's his cousin. Emmett Till is one of his cousins. He said, man, listen, my family has been fighting for this for so long. We was on the clubhouse talking about it. We didn't know that was his people. We talking about the issue and the stuff that's going on. And he goes, yeah, listen, this is, you know, part of the update. This is what's going on. This is what happened. Oh, Most High in Christ. But at the end of the day, we're not getting protection. So we have to fend for ourselves. The Most High would protect us, of course, though, which he did. But it's a matter of what we do. If the boys ain't listening to when we tell them not to go across the street, and they still go across the street, can the protection that we put in place, I'm saying, protect them?
Nope.
Exactly. So the Most High gave us laws to protect us. And we have these feast days so that we never forget. They don't forget 9/11, right? They just arrested a 93-year-old, you know what I'm saying, German mail clerk. A mail clerk who's 93 years old. And when I say it was like 6 months ago, but still, that's not the point. How long ago did the Holocaust occur? 2 generations ago? 40 years? 60 years ago? 80? Dang, 80 years. That's almost 4 generations. A generation is anywhere between 20 to 30 years, by the way. That's what they define it as. So anywhere between what? What was that, 3 or 4 generations? I forgot the math that fast. God, it's like, what's that? Oh, that's Sharash Most High in Christ, man. Hey, shalom, Sharash. But go ahead.
And Salakia, sir. Hey, yeah, Salakia. If Salakia, sir, if I'm going off though, but when you said like the when the oppressor made a law about like not to lynch black and brown people,
Salakia, it's a law in which that it will be a hate crime. It doesn't prevent them from doing the lynching. They can do all
I got it down, Salakia. Like when the oppressor said it's a hate crime, Salakia. When the oppressor made the
Shema.
Salakia, sir. When the oppressor made the hate crime about lynching black and brown people, though, that's an offense to our people, though. That's like disrespectful, though. You know, like the oppressor's a goddamn devil. That's if any brother or sister got some type of logic and understanding, even though they're not affiliated with the IGPK, some type of logic understanding, the oppressor's a devil. That's an offense. That's disrespectful if you look at it like that.
God, it's like, I mean, it was the one. It was the one shooting, maybe 2 shootings that occurred in Asian's community, and within the first 100 days, a law was passed for anti-hate.
They really didn't want that so-called black dude beat that Asian woman. Like, just randomly punched her, I think killed her, something like that. And that's when they came up with that law quick.
Right.
As soon as possible.
It's like, and also for like the for the LGBTQ, they got all kind of laws. You can't look at them.
Of course. It's to the point, you know what I'm saying, where, you know, if now you won't get into it. We're gonna stay on focus. Who goes down topic?
Okay.
So what we must understand and what we must realize is that our protection comes from the Most High. But that comes from us keeping the feast days. That comes from keeping the law, statutes, commandments, though. Right? If we were to be separate as we're supposed to, a lot of the things that plague us probably wouldn't even be issues. Wouldn't be issues. Going to a strip club. Hey, we don't got to worry about, STDs in our community. You understand? We don't have to worry about AIDS, HIV, being an issue in our communities, right? If we stay home with our children, we don't have to worry about, pedophilia, or, all that other stuff being an issue within our community, right? But guess what? We don't. We don't make the sacrifice, to do what the Most High requires. That doesn't mean that you can't go out and party and have a good time. But your priorities, that sacrifice. Hey man, listen, look, I can't do that. Why? I gotta go to Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? That's not an issue. That's just one day. What's that? For you put this work in to gain a kingdom, to gain rulership, to gain power. You understand? Like, imagine you walking down the street and people fearing you, not because they're afraid of you, but they realize the power that you have. Can you imagine walking down the street and your oppressor's looking at you? Oh, what do you need? Can I get that for you? Yes, sir, boss. You understand? Like, oh, let me wash your feet. You understand? Anything else I can do for you? All right. You understand? Like, when the police drive down the block, you looking like, hey, I got my seatbelt on, my license suspended, I pay my insurance. All right, I got any tickets? You feel me? Like, you making sure your stuff is straight. Imagine that being roles reversed. A society in which that you're driving down the street and you don't have to worry about. They're looking like, oh shoot. They tense up. And they make sure, that they're on their P's and Q's. They make sure that they're not doing anything that's inappropriate. It's like, that's amazing. That's something heavy.
Go ahead. It's crazy you say that because a light be in my rear view and them would be trying to pull me over, my stomach dropped. Like it's crazy. Like that's just fear.
Yeah. Listen, what was it? It was one of the master people. It was hilarious, actually. Hilarious. I didn't watch it for a long time, but it was the I got the hookup 2 or something like that. He got pulled over He got pulled over by the police, and while he got pulled over, he's trying to tell his parole officer, "Hey, listen, I just got pulled over." But before he gets a chance to say, his parole officer says, "You get pulled over by the police, you're going to jail." You know what I'm saying? So he hop out the car. It's like, I'm not going back to jail. What's going on, officer? Put your hands on the car. He takes off. The cop looked at him and said, "Why'd he run?" The cop was like, "Why'd he run?" He's like, "Look, I'm not about to go back to jail. You know what I'm saying? My parole officer out here doing me dirty, of course. I got nobody to, to be my defense." So guess what? He was afraid, so he ran. So he took it off. And the police is like, "Why did he run? It makes no sense." It says, verse 6, "And the 15th day of the same month is the feast day of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread." So for 7 days, you understand? We eat unleavened bread. Just remember, what our ancestors had to go through for us to be here where we are today. You understand? They had to follow the directions of Moses. Right? They couldn't be looking back like, "Oh, hey man, look what happened when we got to the wilderness." You understand? We started murmuring, complaining. Pretty much everybody got killed off except 2, and then the children. They went, you know what I'm saying, into the promised land. The rest of us, you know what I'm saying, we got swallowed up, you know, into the wilderness. But as our persecutors pursued us, the Lord saw fit to open up the ocean, and we crossed the Red Sea. And you know what they finding today? You know what they finding today? They finding remnants at the bottom of the Red Sea. How in the world did this get down here? Go ahead.
They said they found the chariot. Well, you know, they used to call them what they used to try the horses. The wheel, the chariot wheel in the ocean.
Come.
They starting to believe now.
You know what a chariot is today, right?
Yeah.
What's a chariot today?
It's a well, we call it chariot. You talking about the UFOs that they call UFO? You talking about the?
I ain't talking.
Oh, you talking about the horse, like the horse chariot?
Nah, chariot today is just a car.
Oh yeah,
car.
Chariot today is just a car. So they use, you know what I'm saying, chariots, the horse and the carriage with the wheels, whatever, to go across then. But now they pursue us in cars. Police is chariots. I mean, not in that sense. Not in that sense. I'm just saying, like, you know, their chariots is. Go ahead.
Well, not likely to pick what you're saying. So like, when you said the cars are chariots today, then they say like, oh, the car go about this much horsepower. Or,
Right. Exactly. So we just basically advanced the technology, so to speak, right? At some point in time, you know what I'm saying, we'll be out here flying and stuff. It's like, man, you got a jetpack on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like forget the whole, you know, the nonsense of Wakanda forever and everything else stuff. But, you know, like, they gonna beat me up, Scotty. It's like you beat me up. I don't want. I need to ride. Y'all coming over? All right. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you could just beam me up to the chariot real quick, you understand? Like, you know, that's gonna be the future. You understand? Like, at some point, you know, not to get too far off topic, the waters is gonna be the waters of outer space. General Muhammad is breaking that down heavy. You understand? Like, we have the waters of seas, we have the waters of the airs, and we have the waters of the, what is it, third heaven, if I'm correct? So we'll be advancing to that at some point. But for right now, the technology, we got to get this basic stuff now. Keep the Sabbath. Keep the high holy days. Remember Passover. Remember our ancestors, what they did to travel through, you know what I'm saying, to get to the other side. You understand? So, like, anybody else want to?
No, Salak, I was going to be real quick. This was though, and speaking on what you just said, though, you mentioned about Wakanda, though. Guess what? When our people is ruling under Christ's authority in the new kingdom, the real Wakanda is going to be them stinking Hamites digging through the dirt in the mud.
Oh man, listen. I saw some recent articles. About some of the stuff that they doing. And it's just like they don't want y'all to know about this. And I don't know what it was, but he had this little 12 or 13-year-old girl. You know what I'm saying? She was hitting his little bride. She said, man, y'all is absolutely disgusting. Grown, you know what I'm saying? Grown pedophile. You know, oh yeah, this is my bride. What? She's 13. What are you talking about? Let her grow up. You understand? So it's so much that we need to be aware of and pay attention to. But of course, you know what I'm saying, this is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So for 7 days, we went about, you know, eating unleavened bread. Y'all might not like to eat this unleavened bread, right?
Well, as you were saying about our elders and our fathers and mothers, this unleavened bread is something that my mother cooked on a regular in a cast iron skillet.
God.
So yes.
Right. That's right. And that's one of the big things about it, though. It's just like we have gotten and we have strayed away from the scriptures. There's remnants of it all over, right? There's remnants of it throughout Israel, of course, though. Whether you're here in the U.S., whether you're in Haiti, Dominican Republic, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't really matter. There's remnants of it all over. he's like, oh, yeah, in my culture, this is what we do. Oh, yeah, we used to do that anyways. We just haven't been mainly influenced by what? Western civilization, or more specifically, America. All that stuff comes out of the Bible. It comes out of the scriptures. The high holy days, the Sabbath, you know what I'm saying? You know, the different laws that we're supposed to keep. But of course, we strayed away from it. We started looking at technology. We got that easy button. You understand? What is that? Target, Staples? That easy button. We got to get away from that easy button, man. Okay. So of course I'm saying this is the closing of the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Make sure y'all, you know what I'm saying, like the food looks amazing. It smells amazing. You know, it looks like it. That bread is absolutely off the chain. Listen, Cat might not be able to eat it for a week, though, you know what I'm saying? But you know, look, I had the right flavor. You know what I'm saying? Flavor in all the right places, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but definitely, you know, take the time, you know, to prepare yourself though, because there's gonna be the Day of Atonement. You know, when you have to fast and you know, go without food, go without drink. Learn to have that discipline. You understand? Like, how many of y'all almost slipped up and ate something? Hey man, I want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm gonna stop over to Popeyes. I'm gonna go over to Burger King. I'm gonna go over to McDonald's.
No, Salaki, sir. By the blessing of the Lord, though, I got the integrity and the discipline to deal with that type of situation for like the true fasting, which is the Day of Atonement, according to our culture. What the Lord regards to do. I got the discipline and integrity for that, though. So I was thinking, blessing to the Lord, I can deal with it.
God, sorry. Somebody else?
It's like just said, on our way back from North Carolina, the first day, we went to Bojangles. We're about to get the tenders, like, we really about to be ready for it. I'm off watering for it. Now y'all, I hit up Cap. Like, yo, is it only 11 of these tenders? I said, you got to throw it out there. Like, wow. Now y'all let it, and even, now when you hang up the phone, before you hang up the phone, you do the salute, you say, Shalom, Lord Christ. Now y'all let it even do that. You just run up the phone, good night.
I had a piece of it in my hand, like, literally about to eat it. Like, nah, we can't eat it.
I'm like, wow. That was sick. Real chicken.
Yeah. But those are the things, you know what I'm saying? And that's the stuff that allow us to grow, right? Because just imagine if you have the discipline to say, I'm not going to eat what I desire. What else, you know what I'm saying, would you be able to do? You understand? For both men and women. Women would be more careful of the men that they choose, right? Men would be more careful of the women that they choose. How you spend your money. Makes all the difference, doesn't it? Hey man, listen, I want to go out and have a good time though, but I gotta go to work in the morning. All right, listen, hey, I'm gonna catch y'all later. You know what I'm saying? Now, look, what's the domino effect? You go out, you drink, you have too much fun, whatever else though, you're going to work late. You're slacking or whatever you're slacking at. And what happens? You lose your job. Now you gotta find another job, get more benefits, and domino effect. How many of y'all had all those battles going into Passover? I know I did. Battling nonstop. You gotta get to Passover, man. They canceled my car. Oh man, they canceled my I got the notification going to Passover. They canceled my reservation. I'm like, hold up, man. I got a notification. They canceled my reservation. I'm like, hold up. Like, I didn't get enough time to even reply. If you don't reply by this time, we will cancel your reservation. What? So, you know, taking the time to, hey, take all that food, put it out, you know what I'm saying, to the back porch, put it into your car, whatever, you understand? Put it out of the house. Now, I know there's brothers and sisters, they have slaveries, they have businesses and everything else, though. Your house is your dwelling, where you sleep, all the other stuff, though. So there's a difference to understand all that. If you got questions, you know, ask. You know, we'll answer the question. Just don't go out here and be ignorant, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, well, I didn't know. Like we know how y'all get down. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and eat this, and then I'm gonna ask. Well, I didn't know. Did you think about it before you ate it? But you didn't ask. All right, well then, guilty as charged. That's between you and the Most High. Ms. Slacky, with that, of course, we're gonna go ahead and conclude the class. All right. Elijah.
We're just gonna do the Lord's Prayer.
We'll pray you have it done. Turn to face the east.
This is the Lord's Prayer. Abanao, Shabbat Shemayim, Dash, Hayah, Shukah, Yahweh, Malakuka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashemaya, Nathan, Laka'am, Kayawam, Wasanat Lanawa, Kawawak Nawa, Kasalat Nawa, Kawawak Wayanawa, Wala Tabaya Anawa, Basa Yanwan, Abba, Hawashaw Nawa, Mayan, Raikaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Waha Wahatapa, like I will love him. Aman.
In the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. Forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom. The power. The glory. Forever. So be it. Amen. So. Sisters, you may be seated. One courteous salute to the men of Israel. Amijah. Shabbat. Amijah. Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shem.
Yes, Matah. So, okay, salute to the sisters. Amijah. Men of Israel. Amijah Shabbat. Amijah. Barak.
Yahweh Shemar Yahweh
Yahweh Shemar Bashem Yahweh Shai.
Yes, Matah. Class dismissed.
I guess.